Hi everyone, Linda here from Create Your Future. I just want to pop on to answer another viewer's question. Before we start, if you like coaching with me, I offer one-on-one coaching. It is down below, the link and all the info. And also please check out our free course on how to uncover your blocks and manifest fast. So the comment that the viewer subscriber left was, I watch your videos and I love them. I am keeping my mental diet clean and strict. I am manifesting my SP. I believe in manifestation. I have manifested many things too. When they show up, I feel excited for a while, but doesn't feel like it's what I have manifested. Another thing, I want to manifest exactly what I want. I am persisting. So to increase my belief in manifestation, I tried manifesting small things, like I intended that my boss wear a red shirt, but he didn't. I intend for my blender to work, but it didn't. I intend to get a chocolate for free, didn't get it. Now I am feeling demotivated, but still persisting in my affirmation for SP. Please help. How to have this unbreakable belief that this is inevitable to happen because it is the law. How to get exactly what I want, and how do you manifest so easily? Please reply. Okay, fully loaded question. I'm going to try to break it down and answer it as best as I can. So the first thing I noticed is I'm doing the things, I tried this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. This trying and doing, again, as I've mentioned before, is doing a technique to get something. So I want SP, I'm going to do the visualization, the robotic affirming, all the intentions, all the visualizations, the crystal water, the this and that, the moon, until I get him and he's going to come, yay. So again, the techniques are just tools to help reprogram our mind, our thinking. We have from birth up until, the age of 8 or 12, that is when we develop our beliefs, our thoughts, and all that. So based on experiences, based on your culture, based on things people told you, limiting beliefs, that is what is going to contribute to your thoughts, your assumptions, your fears, your limiting beliefs, your blocks, and all of that stuff, okay? So although techniques have their purpose, they are just tools to help change those stories. So when we're visualizing, we're trying to visualize the favorable story instead of visualizing and repeating the old unfavorable story. When we're doing affirmations to speak out and think, because affirmations are just new thoughts, right? We're just saying affirmations to think and to say the new story instead of thinking and saying the old story. And eventually, with time and with repetition, it's going to get easier. And by default, those new stories are going to be the first thing you think of when something happens rather than the negative old stories. And so what else you need to do is when you're spiraling or thinking something negatively, stop. Okay, why am I thinking that I'm not going to see my boss with the red shirt? Why am I thinking that SP is not going to call? Okay, I'm still holding on to a story that he's flaky. That's not going to happen. I don't trust law of assumption. I have some doubt. Okay, so I'm going to stop that, and I get what I want. I intend everything always shows up for me the way it's supposed to. I intend that everything is a bridge of incidents. I intend that everything is the unfolding. So the more you catch those negative, unfavorable stories, the more you raise your awareness of your mental diet and those negative things you're thinking, you're like, oh shoot, I was thinking this before it happened. The easier it will be for you to correct those thoughts, and the easier it will be for you to think those thoughts, favorable thoughts, more dominantly, so that will reflect back to you. And you'll notice that things that bothered you before don't bother you before. Things you said or you thought before eventually don't bother you. So you have to be consistent and be aware of those thoughts to keep a good mental diet. Okay, so that's one thing. Another thing is, and the trying. We're not trying to do a technique to get something. We're doing techniques to change ourselves, change our thoughts so that we can be the best version of ourselves, so we can align as the version of ourselves that has the desire, that attracts that person, that attracts that thing, because I am wanted, I am loved, I am chosen, I intend everything always works out for me, I am amazing, I see evidence daily of my manifestations happening. I intend that I get whatever I want easily and effortlessly. I intend that SP loves and adores me and he's obsessed with me and he shows up favorably all the time. I intend that I'm the lottery winner. I intend that I get the position at work that my boss is, giving me the raise. So we want to align ourselves to the version of ourselves that has that desire. And that comes from changing those thoughts, be aware of your self-concept, your mental diet, and the stories you're holding. Okay. Another thing I noticed in this comment is that she says, when it comes, I get excited for a while and then I don't. So a lot of people, they get excited when they manifest something and then they think, well, maybe it's just a coincidence. So again, if you're wavering in your belief in the law, you're going to have evidence that's going to prove wavering. So if you have a doubt that the law of assumption doesn't work, or if you have a doubt that I'm going to try to manifest something small, like seeing my boss's shirt or getting a free chocolate, but I don't really think it's going to happen. Let's just see. I'm going to do it anyways, just to see. Because you have a doubt right there, you're not trusting in the law, you're not trusting in yourself, you're not trusting in your power. That is going to reflect back to you. Remember, everyone is you pushed out. Whatever your dominant state, your dominant thoughts, your dominant fears, your dominant assumptions are going to reflect. So again, saying that I tried this, and it didn't work, or I tried this, and I got excited for a second, but then I wasn't sure if it was a coincidence, you're doubting in the law. That's wavering. You're not believing in it. It's not going to show up the way you want it to. Another thing is that they are being very aware and focused on the 3D and time. So for example, when she said, I intended that my boss wear a red shirt and they didn't. Okay, I could intend that I'm going to see my boss with a red shirt today. It might not happen tomorrow. If it doesn't happen tomorrow, I'm going to say, see, forget it. I knew it wasn't going to work. It didn't happen. It can happen in 3 days. It can happen in 5 days. It can happen a month from now. It can happen a day from now. It will happen when it's supposed to happen. It will happen when you've saturated your mind and your thoughts enough to convince your subconscious, hey, I want to see my boss in a red shirt, and it will happen. So when she says, but it didn't happen yet. We can't keep looking at 3D for movement and accepting it as final, because you don't know when it's going to show up, how it's going to show up. What's the time limit? What's the deadline? You just intended to see a red shirt. We didn't say when and how. And even if you do set a date and you don't see it by that date, you could be creating resistance by trying to force it by a certain time. But if you keep intending and hold on to that intention and belief that I'm going to see my boss in a red shirt, it will come. Same with the free chocolate bar or the blender to work. It might not happen the minute I say it later on that afternoon. We don't know when it's going to happen. We just have to hold on to that thought with brazen impudence. I'm going to see my boss in a red shirt. I'm going to see my boss in a red shirt. I don't care what the 3D is showing me today. I don't care if it's been a day, a minute, an hour. I know I'm going to see this red shirt. And you can use techniques to see your boss with the red shirt, or the blender being fixed, or a free coffee from work. This is what we need to do also with our bigger desires. Nothing is big, nothing is small, but you know what I mean. We give a little bit more importance to other things. So same if you're trying to manifest an SP. If I intend that SP is going to call me and he doesn't call me tomorrow, and then I say, see, I knew he wasn't going to work. He's not going to call. He's never going to work. Chances are he's probably not going to call you now, because you've solidified that belief that he's not going to call. You've accepted 3D as final. You looked at the 3D, noticed he didn't call. He's not going to call. What we need to do is believe that if I'm going to affirm that SP is going to call me, I know he's going to call me, and I'm going to keep doing my techniques and keep my mental diet straight until he calls, until it hardens into fact. So if you don't have your desire, or if you haven't seen that thing yet, it's not over yet. Don't accept it as final, and stop looking at the 3D to say it didn't happen. It didn't happen yet. And the more we waver and the more we doubt, it's not going to happen. And I actually don't like putting time crunches on things. You can say, I want to get this raised by Friday. I want to be asked out on a date by Saturday. I want this phone call by Valentine's Day. You absolutely can do that. But if you already have resistance towards believing that this can happen, and you attach a date or a time to it where you're getting closer to it, you still haven't seen movement yet, and now you're accepting final that it's not going to happen because it hasn't happened yet, then you're kind of setting yourself up for failure. So you intend there's going to be a red shirt with your boss? That's it. Leave it up there and trust that you will see it. When and how is not your job. Same with SP. If I intend that SP is going to invite me over, if I intend that SP is going to call me, if I intend that SP is going to invite me out for my birthday, I'm just going to stick to that story with brazen impudence. That means without a doubt. I don't care what I see in 3D. I don't care if it didn't happen today. I'm not worried if it didn't happen tomorrow, because it could happen next week. It could happen a day later. But the minute you say, see, it didn't happen. See, it's not happening. You've kind of cut that path right there. You've kind of blocked it. It was on its way to getting there, and you just kind of went, well, nope. I'm solidifying that it's not going to happen, hasn't happened yet, it doesn't work, forget it. Well, now it's going to detour back and you're going to lose that desire. It's going to be taking you a bit longer to get back on track. So we want to ignore the 3D and stick to it until it hardens into fact. You can't say, no, it didn't happen. It didn't happen yet. You don't know when it's going to happen. We just know that it's going to happen. We're going to stick to our mental diet, and we're going to try our best not to waver. We're going to try to return back to the favorable state, the favorable story often enough until it comes to fruition, until it hardens into fact. So the last piece she says is how to have this unbreakable belief and that it's inevitable because it's the law. How to get exactly what I want. So basically all those things that I've already explained can be the things that are hindering your manifestation from happening. You're looking too much at 3D, you're wavering, you're already going into this, not trusting into the law, and you're accepting as final when you don't see it yet, okay? And another thing to add is that the more you practice this and the more you start to see movement, you really have to believe that you manifested it. It's not a coincidence. It's not a fluke. Well, it was about to happen. Well, it was bound to happen. Well, it didn't happen because you manifested it. It happened because this. We don't know what's going to rearrange. We don't know what the bridge of incidents is going to look like. We don't know what's going to happen to get that thing. So, for example, let's just say I want to manifest a job. And I go for the job. I go for the interview. And I don't get the job. Now, if I say, frig, you know what? Screw this. I knew I wasn't going to get it. I don't have the education. I'm so upset. I didn't get the job. Forget it. I'm stopping it right there. I'm taking the 3D as final, and I'm not going to get the job. But if I say, you know what? I'm going to revise it. I didn't get the job yet. Maybe they made a mistake. Maybe a better job is going to come up. Maybe they didn't hire me for this position, but there's something better that they think I'm qualified for. I'm just going to go to the end of having this job. I'm not going to accept the 3D as final. I'm not going to say it didn't work. I'm not going to say it didn't happen. It didn't happen yet. Next thing you know, they call you a month later and they say, hey, the person we initially hired didn't work out. They turned down the job. You were the second person on the list. Are you interested in taking the job? We want to offer it to you now. You don't know how it's going to happen, but the minute you say, nope, it didn't work yet, it didn't happen, I'm looking at 3D, you're stopping it in its tracks. You're going to delay that. When you look at something in 3D and observe it from a good self-concept, from a clear set of eyes, from a positive place, and give it good intention and give it good meaning, it has no choice but to reflect back to you favorably also. So basically, once you get on track with the beginning pieces that I've explained in the beginning of this video, you will start to see movement. You will start to see things happening, and you will start to say, oh my gosh, I manifested that. It's not a coincidence. I manifested that. What was I thinking before this happened? Oh my gosh, I manifested that. And with repetition and consistency and trusting and not doubting with these little things, you will start to have more faith and trust and believe in the law, and you will start to see movement. Now, the last thing that I want to add is that when people say, I'm going to stop manifesting, manifestation doesn't work, listen, we are manifesting 24/7, either consciously or unconsciously. So the fact that she didn't see her boss in a red shirt, she manifested that perfectly because she had said, I'm trying to do these things, these little things to get it. I went to go see if my boss had a red shirt and he didn't. It didn't work. You manifested perfectly. It didn't work. You thought it wasn't going to work. You said you didn't see him in a red shirt. Guess what? He never showed up in a red shirt after that. You manifested that perfectly. The minute you say, SP's back, but you know what? He's being a jerk. He's acting unfavorably. He doesn't call. He's still being flaky. I don't know what to do. And then he shows up that way, not calling you, flaky, whatever. You manifested that. Manifesting is always happening. Good, bad, ugly. So what we need to do is really keep a good mental diet and keep thinking favorably and reverse engineer. When something bad or unfavorable happens, what was I thinking before that happened? What was I doubting? Shoot, I was thinking it wasn't going to work. You know what? I did accept that as final. Crap, you know what? I was kind of getting frustrated that it didn't happen, and I accepted that it wasn't going to happen yet anymore because I didn't see it. You know what? You're right. When you start doing those reverse engineerings and you keep a good eye on your mental diet, then you'll start to realize how you're manifesting all the time. Good, bad, ugly, and favorable. So I intend that this video cleared up and answered this viewer's questions, and I hope this clarified for the rest of you viewers as well. I know it did. I intend it did. And yeah, so for coaching, one-on-one coaching, comment down below, because again, I love answering these questions. I love when there's comments underneath the videos, especially like in a short, but I can only say so much in a short, and I can only say so much in a video that's general, rather than when you have coaching with someone one-on-one, we can ask those questions. What happened before? What are your blocks? I can go back and forth with the client, and we can really get to the root of what's going on and where these thoughts came from, rather than just kind of like a general video that I can do for like everybody. It's a bit more powerful and obviously more catered to your needs, your blocks, your specific affirmations and all that when you do have coaching one-on-one. So I intend that even though this was a general video, that it was enough info to help you guys out. But like I said, if you want something more in-depth, more catered to you, designed for you, check out my coaching down below. I'd love to help. Okay, bye.